Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Translation State by Ann Leckie. This is a book coming out on June 6th, 2023. It is a sci-fi from Orbit. As such, it was a book I got from NetGalley in exchange for a fair review. So thank you so much to the publishers and for NetGalley for approving me. There are no spoilers in this review. A meditative novel, Translation State is a poignant and contemplative look at how governments and society attempt to regulate identity. What is it about? When Anae's grandmama passes away, Anae inherits something entirely unexpected, a diplomatic assignment to track down a fugitive who has been missing for over 200 years. No one actually expects Anae to succeed. It's an empty assignment meant to keep her occupied. But Anae has never had a true purpose. No one has expected her to do more than care for Grandmama, so C is determined to accomplish this task to the best of her ability. Reet knows nothing about his biological family. He loves his adoptive parents, but has always secretly yearned to understand his identity, the roots that would explain why he seems to operate just a little bit differently. After all, no one else hungers to study the world by ripping it apart, by slicing into those around them in order to make sense of things. So when a political group approaches him with the claim that he has ties to a genetically mysterious, long-deceased family, Reed is only too eager to believe them. Qven was created to be a press-jur translator. The pride of their clade, they always had a clear path before them, learn human ways, and eventually make a match and serve as an intermediary between the dangerous alien press-jur and the human worlds. The realization that they might want something different isn't optimal behavior. It's the type of behavior that would have you eliminated. But Qven rebels anyway, determined to find a way to belong on their own terms. As a conclave of the various species approaches, and the long-standing treaty between the humans and the press-jur is on the line, the paths of all three will collide in a chain of events that will have ripple effects across galaxies. While it is definitely tied in to the Ancillary Justice novels, the series is called Imperial Ratch, Translation State does not require knowledge of these books for a person to understand it. It's also far less military-minded and focuses more on two people who just want to define for themselves who they are. It is a thinly veiled commentary on the multifacets of our human existence, from gender to race to nationality to sex. I think everyone at some point in time has been told to be someone they aren't, that they have to comply with everyone else's idea of who they are. Whether that's a non-binary person having someone deliberately use the wrong pronouns when referring to them, to a young boy being told he has to play hockey to be masculine, to a mixed-race person being told they can't be part of one culture because they look too much like another. These don't have to be overt displays either. All of our lives we're told how to act. I know I do this to my kids, even if I don't say it aloud or even realize that I'm doing it. It just happens. It's how humans function. Where Translation State really shines, though, is how it brings government into this, in showing how governments blindly, or because it's more convenient, attempt to define and limit people to keep things easier or to appeal to a specific group. The book lauds the idea that no governmental body should be allowed to tell others how to live, who to be with, or what to do with their bodies. That being said, the book also suggests that these freedoms come with accepting that we are part of a society, that our choices must reflect respect for others' well-beings as well. It is a brilliantly executed novel in this regard, as while the general message is pretty blatant, the way it gets there is interesting and entertaining. It's a mystery in a way, but also an interesting look at alien cultures and physiology, and how disparate species could potentially work in the future if we were to meet aliens. The story unravels slowly, with a great deal of dialogue and internal thought, yet there are moments of intensity, specifically in the last quarter of the novel. It also keeps you interested, as it jumps between the three characters in a way where you're not entirely sure how they will link up, and when you do, the tension adapts and builds in a different direction. It's so well thought out. As usual with Leckie, the cast is diverse and well-wrought with likable characters. Qven was my favorite, as their bubbly naivete was refreshing amidst the serious other characters. Reet was a little bland, to be honest, but Anae and the supporting characters made up for it. There are some characters who come in from the main trilogy, though you don't need to know who they are to understand this story. It kind of felt like they were there to please the fans of the Ancillary Justice books. I forgot about all but one of them, to be honest, because I read the books so long ago, when they first came out, 10 years ago, and I read a lot of sci-fi, so I'm not sure how I'm expected to remember everything about every series. So that being said, it seemed almost like I was coming into this book not knowing a lot about the Imperial Ratch trilogy because I've forgotten most of it. Yet, that That being said, while the stakes are high for those particular characters, it does have a feeling of being an offshoot of the main series in that it doesn't have like galactic repercussions, at least not in the way that a war would. Then again, perhaps that's the point, that small events that involve only a few people can have large ripples through that affect everybody. Overall, it is a little slow and definitely requires you to pay attention while reading, in that if you're drowsy and you drift off and wake up, you do need to go back and reread what you missed. But it's a fascinating and complex novel that I do recommend. Thanks for watching, and check this book out.